Hey guys, this is Matt Brunet, and welcome to Movie News Weekly, hosted by FilmBook. Now, before we begin, let's take a look at what we got in this week's news, which includes Fate is still strong at the box office, Third Groot's the Charm, Weinstein's crazy idea, Sandler is a Netflix superstar, Marvel is okay with Batgirl, the Cold War in December, the fresh Genie of Bel Agrabah, the last time we'll see Star-Lord, Who Else Wants Bond, and Hobbs and Shaw in their own movie. So with that said, let's get things started. Things aren't as wild as last week, but it still shows some promising results. The Fate and the Furious still remains at the top of the box office during this weekend by earning significantly less than before, going from almost $100 million to almost $40 million. But it still doesn't change how internationally, it still remains as the king of 2017, earning even more than Beauty and the Beast with almost $750 million internationally. Meanwhile, the March family film still remains strong in second and third place, where The Boss Baby is still acting well with almost $13 million, and the live-action reboot of Beauty and the Beast with almost $10 million. As for the new movies, they didn't do much to make an impact compared to Fate, but for what they are, it isn't too bad. The Disney nature documentary Born in China is showing some panda love by starting in 4th place with more than $5 million, and Unforgettable begins a little low in 7th with less than $5 million, where it goes head-to-head with Smurfs Lost Village, but not enough to surpass Going in Style, which got just $5 million. There will be a lot more Star-Lord than what we'll get in May. James Gunn, the director of both Guardians of the Galaxy films, confirmed on Facebook that he will be returning for the 3rd film as both the director and writer. Gunn stated, "In the end, my love for Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Star-Lord, Yondu, Mantis, Drax, and Nebula, and some of the other forthcoming heroes goes deeper than you guys can possibly imagine, and I feel like they have more adventures to go and things to learn about themselves and the wonderful and sometimes terrifying universe we all inhabit. And, like in both Volume 1 and 2, we will look onto creating the story that goes beyond what you expect." He also went on to say that the story for the 3rd film will be the setup for the possible characters and the storyline for the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the next 10 years. The 2nd film, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, will be released in theaters on May 5th. Maybe it's a little fantasy idea, but it's just a little idea to push the show further. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Harvey Weinstein revealed that he would be interested in producing the Oscars with Steven Spielberg. Weinstein stated, "They're not using technology properly. It still feels like a variety show. Jimmy Kimmel was brilliant, but give him a couple of things to do that are so mind-blowingly cool so people will go, oh my god, virtual reality is just the start. Mike DeLuca and Jen Todd did the most beautiful looking Oscars I've ever seen." He also mentioned that he would like to have Billy Crystal return as the host if he had the opportunity to do so. Another thing he revealed about himself is that he would consider a big studio job outside of the Weinstein Company to have a chance to produce movies with a huge budget. I don't know about you, but it still looks like Sandler is still relevant to this day. When Netflix revealed their first quarter earnings, they revealed that they have been getting some disappointing numbers, including not reaching their goal of having 100 million subscribers. However, one piece of information revealed on the report turned a lot of heads. According to the numbers, people have been watching an accumulative total of 500 million hours of Adam Sandler films ever since his first movie in the streaming service, The Ridiculous Six, made its premiere on December 2015. These numbers are not only to his new Netflix exclusive features, but these also include some of his older works like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore to his more recent theatrical features like Pixels and Hotel Transylvania. Recently, the company signed a new deal with Sandler in order to create 4 new movies exclusively on Netflix. The world sees Marvel and DC like 2 big enemies, but that doesn't mean that you can't be involved with both. When asked about the news that Joss Whedon, the director and writer of the first 2 Avengers movies, will be involved with a Batgirl feature for DC, Marvel president Kevin Feige seems to have no problem with it. He stated, "He called a couple of months ago, which he didn't have to do and was super cool of him and super nice of him. And we couldn't be more supportive. We want to see a Joss Whedon Batgirl film be awesome." Feige also commented on Josh Brolin being cast as Cable in Deadpool 2, despite already playing as Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by stating, "We don't have anything written in our contracts about other roles that people can do. Indiana Jones and Han Solo are the same person. It hasn't been a problem, and I think Thanos and Cable are two very different characters." Might as well end the year off with some Del Toro with that Last Jedi. Fox Searchlight has announced that they have placed a release date for Guillermo del Toro's next feature, The Shape of Water. The movie will be centered around a girl named Eliza, where her life remains in a high-security government laboratory during the Cold War era in America. She would then experience an otherworldly fairy tale journey with her co-worker Zelda when they discover a secret classified experiment. The script is written by Vanessa Taylor and Del Toro himself, while the cast includes Doug Jones, Michael Shannon, Michael Stuhlbarg, Richard Jenkins, and stars Sally Hawkins and Octavia Spencer. The movie is set to hit theaters during award season on December 8th. Rather if he takes it or not, would this be a step up from Homer Simpson? Will Smith is currently in talks with Disney in order to provide the voice of the Genie in the live-action reboot of Aladdin. If he accepts, he will be taking the part that was famously crafted by Robin Williams. Interestingly enough, this is not the first time that Smith was approached to appear in a Disney live-action reboot. Beforehand, he was asked to star in Tim Burton's Dumbo, but the talks didn't work out. However, the company put the actor on the shortlist for any future considerations. The original animated feature made its mark as the highest-grossing feature of 1992, and it won an Oscar for Best Original Song with A Whole New World. The script is written by Big Fish writer John August, and now Disney is looking for who they can cast as both Aladdin and Jasmine. Oh, and there is one more thing to mention about the Guardians. During the premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, director and writer James Gunn revealed that the third Guardians of the Galaxy film will be the final feature of its iteration of the story. Gunn also talked more about the follow-up by saying, "It's going to do it in a big way, and we're going to come to an epic conclusion of who the Guardians are and why they were brought together, and I can't wait to tell that story to the people." In order to progress the story to move on to the third film, the director also revealed that there will be a total of 5 post-credit scenes, 4 of which will occur during the credits. Once again, Volume 2 is prepared to hit theaters publicly on May 4th. A new challenger approaches to get that Bond. In a recent article on the New York Times, the discussions about owning the rights to the James Bond movie franchise has risen once again as Sony's contract marked to an end after Spectre. The big studios like Sony, Universal, 20th Century Fox, and Warner Brothers are discussing with MGM and Eon Productions in order to achieve the rights of the world's most famous spy. However, in that same article, it revealed that Annapurna Pictures is also in competition to get the rights, which is said to be a very surprising move by how small the company is compared to the big leagues. During the time Sony had the rights, they had a very tight deal where even if they only had to pay half the budget of these films, they could only get 25% of the revenue. On top of that, they also have to give some of the profits to MGM and Eon on their other big films like 22 Jump Street. Sony only made a profit of $38 million on Spectre when the film hit big at the box office with $880 million. With 8 movies now, it would be time to look into some of the other members of the family. Universal is starting to plan a spin-off film of their Fast and Furious franchise that would star the characters of Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. First appeared in the 5th and 6th installment respectively, the story is stated to go into the unlikely duo of Luke Hobbs and Deckard Shaw that could set up the upcoming feature in the franchise. While no director has yet to be attached or any official word from either Johnson or Statham, the company is currently in talks with chief writer of the series, Chris Morgan, to take the script of the spin-off. In terms of the latest film that came out, The Fate and the Furious, it has been doing very well this early at the box office, where it so far grabbed itself $163.5 million domestically and more than $900 million worldwide in only 2 weeks. And that's all I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to head on down to film-book.com for all the latest movie and TV news, along with their columns on the box office and their theatrical release schedule. Also, you can follow them on whatever social media you'd like. And while you're at it, you can follow me on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter if you're more into stuff like animation, Disney, and my weird sense of humor. If you were watching this on YouTube, then hit that like button and come subscribe to us, and also leave a little comment on what you think on the news this week. If you were listening to this on a podcast on iTunes or any other podcast service, then don't forget to rate and review what you just heard. Tune in next time for another round of Movie News Weekly, and until next week, see you later, dudes!